All right, joining me now from the other side of the aisle is House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. All right, Congressman, let's start here. He said it was about the economy. You guys haven't addressed that. People are still suffering. What say you, and will the message change or refocus going into 2026?
Well, great to be with you, Shannon. First, keep in mind that under Joe Biden, and I understand the Democrat national chair isn't in the heat of the battle in Washington and doesn't understand the nuances. But under Joe Biden, it was the American Rescue Plan, wrongly named, where Democrats pumped $2 trillion into the economy. And what did they do? Economists call it the original sin. It drove double-digit inflation that we hadn't seen in 40 years. Donald Trump inherited that broken economy, and he has been fixing it. Energy prices are down. Grocery prices are down. In fact, gas prices are at a lowest point in 5 years. But this was seriously broken by Joe Biden and Democrats, and guess what? Donald Trump is fixing it. We gave the Democrats a clean, continuing resolution to keep the government funded back on September 19th, Shannon. And what was their response that your previous guest doesn't even mention? They want to spend $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion. It is essentially the same failed economic policy that put Americans in the ditch under Joe Biden. And you know what? Donald J. Trump is fixing this economy. That's why 77 million people voted him, because he's voted for him, because he's the only one that can. And it was seriously broken under the Democrats and Joe Biden. And guess what? Donald J. Trump is not going to let him do it again. He's going to continue to improve on this economy, and Republicans in the House and the Senate aren't going to do that either. It's not right for the American people, and Democrats should put the American people first, Shannon.
So voters, though, on Tuesday night, they're not feeling the economic improvement yet. Here's what the Wall Street Journal reports. Across the board, the biggest contests on Tuesday were decided by voters who listed the economy or cost of living as the leading issue where they live, and those voters broke for the Democrat Party or the Democrat candidate by nearly 2-to-1 in all three races. So they're not feeling many of them voted for President Trump, some of them, on the promise that the economy was going to improve, they're not seeing it yet.
Shannon, first off, if this narrative about Tuesday night is completely false. Democrats won in the places where we expected them to win. In fact, the biggest disappointment you were talking about with the previous guest is the Attorney General in Virginia. You thought there was some decency on the other side of the aisle, but apparently not. They want a assassination fantasizer as the Attorney General in Virginia. Look, Jack Ciattarelli, without Donald Trump on the ballot in New Jersey, increased his vote total from his previous governor's race to this one by 100,000 votes. You look at the island. Nassau County has 2 million people in it. You re-elected a Republican county executive in that county by more than 11 points, an increase of more than 11 points from the last election. You look in, by the way, that's all of New York's 4th congressional district represented by a Democrat. It's all of it's 75% of New York's 3rd congressional district. You go to New York's 19th congressional district, also represented by a Democrat, Shannon. Guess what? The largest city, Binghamton, elected a Republican mayor on Tuesday night. And if you look back, Kamala Harris won Binghamton by 28 points last November. So this narrative that somehow they won where they're supposed to win, and this is Donald Trump's the one who's fixing affordability. Donald Trump and the Republicans. And you will see as we go into the midterm, that is what voters are going to understand and know, and that's why we're going to hold our majorities in the House and the Senate, and we're going to finish what the American people elected Donald J. Trump to do.
Okay. Planning to defy most of history on the midterms, and we'll see. People will have another temperature check a year from now as they go to the polls. But one of the areas that was really pronounced on Tuesday night was the gender gap. I want to put this up in the three major races, New York City, Virginia, and New Jersey. You can see 80+% of women younger in the 18 to 29 range went for these candidates. Tomi Lahren's out there talking about this gender gap with the Republicans. She says, in part, the party's going to have to learn how to close the gender gap, and Republicans are not going to like it when I say this, but stop lecturing women on how they should stay home and be wives and mothers. It's not your business. Focus on what women voters actually care about, the economy and safety. How do you plan to close the gender gap in the next year?
Oh, I think especially House Republicans, that's not going to be an issue, Shannon. I mean, if you look at how the map is setting up, and I understand what you're saying, If you want to just rely on history, okay, nothing's going to change. But the reason it is, go back to 2018. The generic ballot in 2018 at this time was Democrats plus 10, Shannon. Guess what it is now? It's Democrats plus 3.8. Plus, back in 2018, we had 21 of our members sitting in seats that Hillary Clinton had won in 2016. You know what, Shannon? They being the Democrats in the House, now have 11 of their members. Actually, it's 10 because Jared Golden retired in Maine the other day, the day after the election that everybody's telling us was so good for Democrats. Their best incumbent in the House retires and says his party has gotten way too extreme on its policies. Look, our policies are better. As you see the economy improve through the midterms, we're going to hold the House and expand the number in the House. The Senate's going to do well. And like I said, we're going to finish what the American people elected Donald J. Trump to do.
Okay. They will let us know what they think of the ballot box. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, we really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Shannon.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.